I'm just looking at our predictions at the beginning of the year,
Yeah,
and it made me chuckle that neither of us put the Bills in the playoffs. Welcome to View from the Top of the Goalpost. I am Diesel, and we're back. I'm joined, as always, by my co-host Chad. And yeah, we had a little sabbatical last week. Things came up, and we couldn't record, and Chad had some technical difficulties, and yeah, that's just how things go sometimes. How you
when
doing,
cookie
Chad?
crumbles.
Yeah,
I'm doing phenomenal. I'm here. I'm losing very much to you and with no hope of coming back really unless absolute debacle happens and I just start picking crazily well. But yeah, last week took a second bye week like we're in college football and we're back though. It's, Thanksgiving week. We're recording a day early and, let's just see if I can get something right this week. I can't get anything right in fantasy football, so maybe I get something right here.
Yeah, good luck to you this week. Because last week you did not have a great week. It's pretty much how your whole season's been going. But
Pretty
you went
much.
5-8, and I went 7-6, bringing our season totals to I'm 114-65, and you, Chad, are 92-87, still above 500. So at least got that going
So
for you.
got that going for me. Good God.
But yeah, so there's that. How did your locks go? Because I know you posted everything on the social medias, so you got all that going, but I did not like look to see how you did. So why don't you tell me?
Oh, don't worry, Diesel. My locks went just about as well as my picks did because overall I went, let's see, one, two, three, four, and there was how many games last week? 13.
Yes, 13
So
games.
I went 4-9 last week in all of my picks because let's see, Pittsburgh did not cover -3.5. The Suck at Carolina lock did not hit because Kansas City almost lost that game and probably should have lost that game to Carolina. One of the few things I did get right was the Minnesota Chicago game did hit the over. Houston did not cover -8 for the bronze lock because they lost the game to Tennessee. The fantasy fun lock once again didn't hit because Detroit and Indy did not go over 50.5 because Indy didn't score a touchdown. New England did not cover their +7 for the Heart lock because they got their doors blown off in a very embarrassing game. Tampa Bay, however, did cover -6 for the Silver lock of the week. The Emerald lock hit because the Dallas and Washington game did hit the over because there was 41 points scored in the fourth quarter. And if you're wondering why that was the Emerald lock, because if you combine the blue of the Dallas Cowboys and the yellow of the Washington Commies, you get Emerald. Okay, moving on. Denver did cover -6 for the gold lock of the week. The need to win lock did not hit because I picked San Francisco's money line over the Packers and they got their asses kicked. And the Raptor lock didn't hit because Arizona lost in embarrassing fashion. The LA Rams did not win the game, and also the LA Chargers did not win the game. So, yeah, it was a rough week to be gambling with Chad. Overall, I am now 31-30-1 for bonus locks, 4-5 for last chance / need to win, 4-1 for heart locks, 5-4 on Suck at Carolina locks. The Cat Scratch Fever lock is still 2-1. The Fantasy Fun lock is 0-2-1. Really, really kill. I lied. 0-3-1. Really killing that one. The Raptor lock is now 6-6. The Emerald lock is 5-6. Really creeping back close to 500. The Bronze lock is 6-6. The Silver lock is 8-4. Once again, though, the granddaddy of them all, the Gold lock for every single week is now 9-3 overall. So you're still winning money. It's just, last week was hard. I'm sorry, folks. I'm really, really sorry.
Well, we have what? This is week 13, so we have 6 weeks left to go. Maybe you can just make this incredible run in the picks and with your bets and become a rich man and maybe put some money into this podcast.
Yeah, I certainly won't be winning any fantasy championships, so maybe I can do something good with my year.
Well, let's make some picks. Let's get you started on the right path and let's go to Thanksgiving morning at 11:30 a.m. We see the 4-7 Chicago Bears traveling to the 10-1 Detroit Lions. The first time the Detroit Lions are 10-1 since 1934. Thank you, Chris Berman. That's where I heard that stat.
It's a great
Uh,
stat.
the Lions are 10-point favorites with a 48.5 point over under, and 97% of the fan differential is on Detroit. Who do you got in this game, Chad?
I got the Big Dick Lions once again. I mean, they are officially the bullies of the NFL right now. They look like and act like and play like the best team in the NFL. They've had one bad game against Houston where Jared Goff threw a bunch of interceptions and they still won the game. And I
Oh, they
mean,
didn't have a great game against Tampa where they got their loss.
their loss wasn't a great game either, but it wasn't a bad game. Like their worst game was against Houston, and they won that game. I know their loss was against Tampa Bay. That's neither here nor there. Detroit is a complete NFL team. I truly don't care if David Montgomery's not in. If Amon-Ra St. Brown doesn't play, I worry a little bit more. But honestly, once again, it's at home. It is on Thanksgiving. I know they lost last year to the Packers on Thanksgiving, which means I think they are even more resolute in needing to win this game in convincing fashion. Because last year, when they lost to the Packers the way they did, a lot of question marks shot up all around the pundits, all over, the sportscasting network and the YouTube machine. This year, they make a statement. They crush the Chicago Bears, who still don't have a defense or offensive line and still have one of the worst coaches in the NFL. I mean, I don't think Matt Eberflus gets fired this week, but I can't believe he's going to make it through the season. I think he's going to at this point because it's a little late to fire a coach in the season. I just don't think they will do it. But if they were smart, they would. But give me the Detroit Lions, and with a bonus lock, I will be eating those 10 points because, yeah, I don't care how many points it is. I will eat as many points as I have to for the Detroit Lions.
I don't think they're gonna fire Eberflus until after the season's over. I don't know. I don't. His seat is hot, and obviously he's going after the year. I just don't see any urgency. I don't see any reason why. You already fired the offensive coordinator. It's that didn't help you. What are you going to gain by firing Eberflus before the end of the season? I mean, the Bears aren't doing horrible. They've had a string of bad luck. Let's not like
That's true.
lie about that. The Hail Mary game against Washington, blocked field goal against Green Bay. They had a blocked field goal against Minnesota and came all the way back to tie them up, take them to overtime.
First
Just
successful
3-0.
onside kick of the
Yeah,
year.
and go 3-0 in overtime and have Minnesota win that game. Yeah, it sucks for the Bears. And going into Detroit, I have Detroit in this game. I would not be shocked to see the Bears win just because it's Thanksgiving, like you said. Like, yeah, the Detroit they lost last year, but like I don't know. Division games are different this year. We were talking about this over the weekend in our text messages. They're just different. If you look at every game this year that's been a division game, it seems like the underdogs, and it might not have more wins than the favorites, but it seems like the underdog is winning more than your average year. It just, I don't know, or like giving the other team problems. But I don't think Chicago's going to win this game. The only reason I would pick Chicago as maybe if Detroit's looking ahead to Green Bay next week, but I think they're too smart to do that and too focused. And like you said, they're bullies. They love beating up on these smaller, weaker teams. But yeah, I'm going to Detroit as well. I am actually interested in this game, unlike the game we get at 3:30 on Thanksgiving, which is the 2-9 New York Giants versus the 4-7 Dallas Cowboys. Cowboys are favored by 3.5 with a 37.5 point over under, and 90% of the fan differential is on the Cowboys. I am gonna pick the Cowboys. I'm not overthinking this. I'm just gonna pick the Cowboys because they're healthier than, I mean, not even healthier. They have a better roster than the Giants. And they beat, I don't know, I can't even explain to you what happened at the end of the game last week against the Commanders and how they ended up winning that game. They scored a touchdown on an onside kick, which
It
I'm
did.
not sure if I've ever seen that before. Like I've seen it in Madden, but I don't know
Lots
if
of
I've
times
ever
in Madden.
actually, like I don't know if I've ever seen it in like the NFL at least. And I'm sure like someone could be like, "Oh yeah, this happened then," and it's like you're just remembering, but I don't know. I just think Dallas overall has a better roster. The Giants suck. I think they're kind of tanking to get that number one pick. They need a quarterback. Shooter Sanders.
I, once again, I don't give a shit about this game. This game is an absolute dumpster fire. And in case of dumpster fire, flip a coin. And I flipped a coin and it came up Tommy DeVito. So I will be taking the New York Giants as a bonus lock. I will be taking those 3.5 points. Listen, I don't believe in this Giants team at all, but the one thing they can do is rush the shit out of the quarterback. And Dallas has no running game at all. Cooper Rush might not even play this game. So that means that what's his face is going to be,
Trey Lance.
Trey Lance. I can never remember his name anymore. For some reason, it's just fallen out of my brain. Trey Lance might be starting this game. But that defensive line of the Giants, well, it hasn't been as good recently, still can produce a lot of chaos. And I mean, if Tommy DeVito just gets the ball to Neighbors and Tracy Jr., man, I think they could beat this Cowboys team. It's a dumpster fire game. I really don't care. And as you keep saying, it's a divisional game, so anything could happen. So give me Tommy DeVito, and I don't care.
No,
Fire Mike McCarthy.
Anything could happen. And that's another thing. I don't think they're getting rid of McCarthy until the season's over as well. But anything could happen because both these teams suck. And that's why I'm just not overthinking it. I'm just going with Dallas. They're favored. They're at home. New York's not very good. That's my argument for you.
Dallas is really bad at home this year. That's my argument.
You're right about that. But last year they weren't.
That's true.
Finally, our third game on Thanksgiving is the 5-6 Miami Dolphins traveling to the 8-3 Green Bay mother-loving Packers. Messed up the whole thing. The Packers are favored by 3.5 with a 47 point over under, and 79% of the fan differential is on Green Bay. Who do you have in this game?
I once again, I want to call the fans idiots, but I am on the Green Bay mother-loving Packers in this game. I know Miami is coming into this game on a little bit of a hot streak. Tua just threw 4 touchdown passes against the New England Patriots and is still undefeated against them as a starter, which is just fucking infuriating. But you know what? I think this Miami team is a bit of fool's gold. I think they've had this nice little run here, but I don't think this defense is actually that good. I think Chop Robinson might be a star going forward, but I think the rest of that defensive line and that front really can't produce that much pressure. And after Jalen Ramsey, there's not much in that secondary. So I think that defense can really be exposed in this game. So I'm sorry to do this. It's the last time. I swear if this doesn't happen this time, I will retire this lock completely and I'll never use it again. But with the fantasy fun lock, give me the over in this game, because while I don't believe in the Miami defense, I do believe in this Miami offense enough that I think 47 points is a little bit low. I can see this game being a 28-24 kind of game where, that hits it exactly. No, never mind. It goes over. Man, I'm having a rough day, folks. I'm sorry. It's been a long afternoon. I think the over hits. Fantasy fun lock. If it doesn't happen, then I retire this lock forever. Give me the Green Bay Packers, though. All right, Diesel, tell me why you're also taking the Packers.
Well, do you remember what happened to Miami last year when they went to Kansas City in the playoffs?
Into cold.
It's not going to be that cold. I mean, because that was really cold. People lost phalanges. And I'm not even joking. Like, there was a bunch of people that lost fingers from frostbite that day because it was that cold. Yeah, but it's going to be a pretty brisk night in Lambeau on Thursday night. And I just don't think the Dolphins like the cold. The Packers defense has been really stepping it up against the rush. And Miami's really good at running the ball. And if Miami can't get the run going, they're not going to be able to get the pass going either because they're totally dependent on the run. And you know what? So are the Packers. The Packers are a run-first team out of, like, nowhere. Never in my life have they been a run-first team, but with Josh Jacobs, like, he is killing it. And there's still two running backs that are having better seasons than he is. And Josh Jacobs is having a great season. I agree with you about Miami's defense too. I don't think they're very good, and I think that the Packers are going to be able to move the ball against them. And I think the Packers are going to be able to get more crucial stops with their defense. And so I think that this game, I think there will be points scored. Each team will probably have more than 20. I give the Packers, I'll say the Packers 31, Miami 24.
I can believe that.
And now we have the Black Friday game. And oh boy, I wish they would have scheduled some good games during the holidays, but we have at 2:00 on Friday the 2-9 Las Vegas Raiders traveling to the 10-1 Kansas City Chiefs. The Chiefs are favored by 12 with a 42.5 point over under. 97% of the fan differential is on the Chiefs, and so am I. And as I start saying that, I start remembering how they just almost lost to Carolina, and my whole division game argument. Like, this is a game, and my whole argument about the Chiefs are going to get caught in this weird scheduling thing. Oh man, it's already locked in. I already got the Chiefs, but I'm going to be kicking myself if Las Vegas wins this game after all this stuff I just thought about. But I'm going with Kansas City just because they can't have two stink fests in a row. You know, they're trying to win another Super Bowl, go 3 in a row. They're the weirdest 10-1 team. Like, if you compare them to the other 10-1 team in the league, it's like they're not even, like, Detroit's leagues ahead of Kansas City.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Kansas City is the two-time defending Super Bowl champs. It doesn't make any sense, but I'm going Kansas City.
Yeah, once again, I told everyone I'm done with Las Vegas. I'm against Las Vegas the rest of the year. I think Aiden O'Connell is starting this game because Gardner Minshew is now officially out for the year with a broken collarbone. I mean, Antonio Pierce is so far in above his head right now. This team is trash. I don't know if Max Crosby's even going to play. They are losing players left and right, and they have no running game whatsoever. This is a classic get right game where I know it might be a divisional game, but Kansas City, at home on a quasi prime time, because I know it's not prime time, but it's the only football game on altogether. So I'm going to call it prime time. They get the job done. Bonus lock, I'm going to eat those 12 points. I don't like it at all, but I really, really hate this Las Vegas squad. I think it is a complete...
Your speaker went, or your mic went out.
How about now?
I can hear you now.
Perfect.
It made this really weird, like breathing sound.
Yeah, it does that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of scary when it does it. What was the last thing I said?
The last thing I heard was you were talking about eating the 12 points.
All right, then in 3, 2, 1. The Las Vegas Raiders are a complete rebuild. They have one or two pieces that I think are actually worth keeping going forwards, and one of them is on offense and one of them is on defense. And besides that, the rest of the team basically needs to be jettisoned, traded, or sold for parts because they are garbage. So eating 12 points seems like a lot, but Kansas City, I think, wins this game and enjoys their turkey hangover from the day before.
And now we finally move to Sunday. And the first game on the Sunday slate is at noon. And we see the 6-5 Arizona Cardinals traveling to the 9-2 Minnesota Vikings. The Vikings are favored by 3.5 with a 45-point over-under, and 88% of the fan differential is on Minnesota. Who do you got in this game, Chad?
Don't break my heart again, guys. I am taking the Arizona Cardinals in this game. Bonus lock, I'm taking the money line. Arizona is the most up and down roller coaster team this year. They win games in such, they don't give up touchdowns for 3 weeks. And then they only give up 10 points this last week against the Sea Chickens, and they lose. This defense is really stepping up. This Arizona defense really seems to have found something that I didn't think they have. I couldn't name you I don't know if I can name any Arizona defenders right now off the top of my head.
Baker?
That was going to be my only one, and I think he might be hurt right now. So I don't think I can name you a single Arizona defender.
I really thought about it. I'm sure I could pull one out of my ass, but
yeah,
I agree.
But they have been playing pretty damn well. And Kyler, he just had himself an off game against Seattle. Maybe it was because it was a double XP weekend in Call of Duty and he was just a little too focused on the other thing. But this weekend, the double XP is on Thanksgiving, so he should already have that done. So come Sunday, he'll be focused for the game. Give me the Arizona Cardinals in this game, and I just don't believe in Sam Darnold. Also, I have to say that I am an asshole and an idiot because I didn't start Addison last week in fantasy football, and I looked like a real dum-dum.
I would have won some money if those yards would have went to Jefferson because once again, my 2 out of 3 and underdog hit again. And that's because I had Jefferson getting 80 plus yards and that didn't happen. got what, like 10? Like it wasn't very much. Um, I also am taking Arizona in this game because I do not believe in Sam Darnold either, and they've been tempting fate too much lately. Their last few games, they could have easily lost their last two games. They aren't playing as good as they were to start the season. Their record is a sham. I feel like this is 2022 all over again because all the things that I had to say about them back then. I just I don't believe in this team at all. I think when it's all said and done, they will drop below Green Bay in the standings in the North. I think that it's a tall order for either, like, even though they're only a game behind Detroit, I think it's a tall order for either Minnesota or Green Bay to win that division at this point. But yeah, I just I kind of see the things that make you excited about Arizona. Um, I'm not 100% there like you are, but yeah, I don't believe in Minnesota at all. So I got Arizona in this game as well.
Like it.
Next game at noon on Sunday is the 7-4 Los Angeles Chargers traveling to the 6-5 Atlanta Falcons. Chargers are favored by 2.5 with a 48-point over under, and 66% of the fan differential is on the Chargers. And I am also picking the Chargers. And here is why. I feel like I need to walk back some of my dislike of the Chargers from the last few weeks. I'm not saying that I am all in like you are, because I don't think that they are top of the AFC. I think that Baltimore kind of proved that by going into their house on Monday Night Football and not not going there easily winning it, but they didn't really have too much of a problem. They pretty much
Hey,
controlled that game.
if Johnson catches those fucking passes, that game's a lot different. There's 5 big drops in that game.
Well, that's what you get for drafting a receiver in the first round. Just ask Green Bay. Um, that's seriously, that's what I was thinking about the whole time. Every time he dropped a pass, I'm like, this is why the Packers don't draft receivers in the first round. But still, they had good control of that game for like the majority of it, and the big brother got the win again. He's 3-0 against his little brother, and yeah, it's fun to see the Harbaughs go up against each other. I don't know why, because I don't like either of them, but it's still fun. Um, but Atlanta, they are coming off their bye, but they are also very confusing. I don't just There's so much talent on this team, but it seems like they're reverting into the team they were last year, even though they got different leadership, different quarterback. It just seems like they're falling into old patterns, and I don't know why. And I just feel like they're going to have some issues against this Los Angeles Chargers defense, even with all that talent. And poor Dobbins, I don't know what happened, because as we're recording, it's Tuesday and there hasn't been much like information come out, but hopefully it's nothing major, because man, that guy has some serious bad luck when it comes to injuries, if that's the case. But I still think Gus Edwards is a good running back. He's very capable. Lad McConkey is awesome. Uh, and Justin Herbert's good. He's really good. And he's actually more mobile than he has been in the last few years. So he's been able to, like, he has a couple rushing touchdowns just in the last couple games. And he's able to, like, get out of the pocket and run for the first down if he needs to. I just feel like Chargers defense is just going to give the Atlanta offense some fits. And I think when it comes down to it, I think at the end of the game, the Chargers will be on top.
This whole time before we started recording, I had not picked who I thought was going to win this game. And up the whole time Diesel was talking, I hadn't picked who I thought was going to win this game. I'll tell you right now, silver lock of the week, take the over. 48 points, that's too low. There'll be some points scored in this game. Both these offenses will be able to do something, especially with Atlanta coming off their bye. And the Chargers are coming in here off of a short week. Okay. So they'll be a little tired probably. That being said, my heart is telling me to pick Atlanta, but my brain is telling me to pick the LA Chargers. As this is not the heart lock, I will be taking the LA Chargers in this game. Listen, I just believe in Harbaugh more than I believe in Morris, honestly, and I believe in Herbert more than I believe in Cousins at this moment.
First double lock ever and make this a silver lock and the brain lock. Never done a brain lock.
I've never done a brain lock. No, that is true. I'm not going to chance it. I don't need to start another lock as well. I have enough of those fucking things. Okay. But yeah, I don't know. Diesel's 100% right. This Atlanta Falcons team looks way too much like the Atlanta Falcons team of last year. And it doesn't make any fucking sense. I don't know what it is. And I texted Diesel. I swear if they just would have hired Belichick like they fucking should have, they'd be dominating the NFC South, okay? Besides Tampa Bay, the NFC South is a dumpster fire. They would be decimating this division and could be talking about trying for the 1 seed. Now they're fighting for their playoff lives by winning the NFC South, okay? They're a weird team, and in that way, it doesn't really matter to them because they're not playing for the wild card anymore. They're playing for the NFC South, and that's it. Because the NFC South is putting one team in the playoffs, and that's it. So they lose this week. Give me the Chargers, but with the silver lock of the week, give me the over 48 points. And I'm sorry, Atlanta. I'm rooting for you.
Wish the Packers played in the NFC South.
Yeah.
They're third place. They'd be first place in the South.
They would.
West. Yeah.
Crazy.
Anyways, moving on. Next game, noon on Sunday, we see the 5-7 Indianapolis Colts traveling to the 3-9 New England Patriots. The Colts are favored by 2.5 with a 42.5 point over under. 83% of the fan differential is on Indy. Who do you got in this game, Chad?
This 1,000% heart lock, babe. New England Patriots gonna win this game. Come on, Drake. Wow, was last week rough. And Drake, you didn't play terribly. Honestly, you had an interception, but no one could get open last week against that Dolphins team, and the defense let you down left and right and just couldn't get off the field. This week against the Indianapolis Colts, I mean, this is a team that has made me look kind of foolish. Anthony Richardson is the greatest, flashes of greatness and also the lowest lows. I mean, his completion percentage has to be, 50% or below at this point. It's atrocious. He makes these amazing, insane throws that I don't think anyone else could make. And then he can't throw a 5-yard out. He overthrows the guy or he throws it in the dirt. It's mind-boggling. It's absolutely baffling. And while I think that Mayo is another coach who is way in over his head, I don't think he is an NFL coach in any form or fashion. And I don't think the Patriots will. Yeah, head coach. I think he could be a great coordinator, but a head coach is just not something in the cards for him yet. Maybe later in life. He just maybe needs a little more seasoning. I don't know. But he's not ready for this job right now. But this Indianapolis Colts team, until Jim Irsay is fired at the top and they just fix the entire dead head of this snake that's all the way up there, they ain't going nowhere. It's in Foxborough. I think Drake gets a couple more wins this year, and this is one of those few games that I think that they have a shot. So Heart lock on the New England Patriots. I'm taking the money line.
Yeah, it's crazy how Richardson can throw those rainbows with just a flick of a wrist. Like I've never seen anybody throw a ball like that before. Like it looks so effortless and he can just throw it 60 yards down the field. It's it's very impressive every time I see him do something like that. I I like where your head's at and I understand where your heart's at, but I am going with Indy just because they got Jonathan Taylor and they
Are they going to
got
give him the ball, though?
that's true. They got a competent receiving core. Um, Defense, on the other hand, if New England wins this game, it's because Ramondre Stevenson like rushed for 120 yards and a couple touchdowns because that's one thing that's their kryptonite is teams that can run the ball. So I don't wouldn't be surprised to see New England win this game, but I'm just going with Indianapolis just because I think they're better.
Once again, it's not a bad pick.
No shade.
My brain pretty much is saying that I should be picking Indy, but going with the heart.
Next game at noon is the 6-5 Seattle Seahawks traveling to the 3-8 New York Jets. The Seahawks are favored by 2 with a 41.5 point over under, and the fan differential is 81% on the Seahawks. I'm taking the Seahawks because I can't pick the Jets ever again, especially in this season. Like I don't know who's gonna be playing for them. I don't know if Aaron Rodgers is injured. If he's not injured, he won't like go and get a scan to see if he's okay because he's just worried about being benched. Yeah, but he also is trying to find a new team to play for next year. It's a big mess in New York. Like I didn't even talk about like any on field things really. So it's like Seattle is a weird team, but I just don't see them having a problem with the Jets. I think that Seattle's gonna win this game.
I'm going with the New York Jets in this game for one simple reason. The Jets are coming off their bye, and Seattle has to fly all the way cross country for a noon game. I don't know. I completely agree that the Jets are an absolute Jerry Springer episode crossed with Maury, crossed with an episode of Cops at this point, because I don't know what the hell is going on, but I think through all of the hullabaloo and bullshit, they're gonna get one and it might. I think they might win this game by a lot, and like it's gonna be like one of those moments where or Devontae Adams having a baby to save this relationship. It looks like, oh my god, it worked again, and then next week they're gonna get their doors blown off again. But I don't know. For some reason, I really think they win this game, and I think they win it convincingly, and that is why this is the Emerald Lock of the week. Also, it had to be the Emerald Lock of the week because whichever team I chose had green. So the Emerald Lock was 1,000% going in this game. But yeah, I'm taking the Jets, and I will be taking the money line in this game.
I mean, you could have done the same thing for the Packers Dolphins game.
I could have. I actually realized that as I was talking, but that's why I put the Fantasy Fun Lock on that game. So
I know, I got you. When you didn't pick the Emerald Lock, I had to look at the schedule. I'm like, who else is green? Like the only two green teams are playing each other. Yeah, I guess I don't have anything to add. I just think that it's interesting that you picked both the Jets and the Giants, but that's also why you're only 5 games over 500.
Hey, that was hurtful, but true.
I'm sorry, but there's a little bit of truth. Sometimes the truth hurts.
Hey, I can't call you a liar. I just said it hurt.
The next game at noon is the 8-3 Pittsburgh Steelers traveling to the 4-7 Cincinnati Bengals. Cincinnati is favored by 3 with a 47 point over under, and this game is a straight pick 'em as for the fan differential. It is at 50%. And so, who do you got in this game and why? Because I actually thought this game was kind of tough to pick.
I I think this game is not as tough to pick only for the fact that for some reason there's only one team that Mike Tomlin struggles with, and it's the Cincinnati Bengals. I don't know why. He crushes everyone else in the division and wins every year against them, but he's got a problem with Joe Cool. And this Cincinnati offense is so freaking good right now. Even without a competent running game, they are still putting up 30 to 40 points a game. It's fucking crazy. And this defense is a sieve. It gives up thousands and thousands of points on the other end, but I still don't believe in this Pittsburgh offense, okay? Russell Wilson has looked a lot more like Russell Wilson of Denver than he did for those first couple weeks when he started with the Pittsburgh Steelers, okay? He's been fumbling the ball. He's been holding on to the ball too long in the pocket and taking unnecessary sacks. I don't believe in this Pittsburgh offense. I 1000% believe in this Pittsburgh defense, but Cincinnati is a cornered animal right now. They have so little room left on the edge of this precipice of missing the playoffs, and they have to win. They can't lose anymore, and they especially cannot lose another division game. They need this game so very badly. I'm going to take the cornered and wounded animal in this game. So give me the Cincinnati Bengals. And as a bonus lock, I will be eating those 3 points.
I feel like one of us says something similar about Cincinnati every single game. I'm also taking Cincinnati because my gut is just telling me that Cincinnati is going to win this game. It's at home for them. They are cornered, like you said. Pittsburgh just lost to the Browns, which was a away game. Yeah, you can say it was snowing and all that kind of stuff, but like they lost. They could have won that game, but they didn't. And the Bengals offense, like they can strike. And I don't know if T. Higgins is finally like good to go, but they're still good. Like their running game is totally inconsistent. 1 week Chase Brown is amazing, and then the next week they can't even gain a yard on the ground. Yeah, I don't know. My gut is telling me Cincinnati, and usually when I go with my gut, especially this season, I've been right. So that's following my gut.
Your record speaks for itself.
Next game at noon, we see the 7-5 Houston Texans traveling to the 2-9 Jacksonville Jaguars. Houston is favored by 5 with a 43.5 point over under, and 96% of the fan differential is on Houston. Who do you got in this game?
Yeah, I have Houston in this game, but with the cat scratch fever. Lock of the week, give me the over 43.5 points. Listen, folks, Jacksonville's defense, straight dog shit. Houston offense, pretty damn good. Jacksonville's offense, nah, they're not bad. Houston's defense, very inconsistent. There will be points scored in this game. I think Jacksonville puts up a fight because this Houston team is experiencing a massive sophomore slump this year. I don't think that anyone's regressed or anything like that. I just think that they couldn't climb as high as they did last year. Okay. It just sometimes happens. All right. I think next year they'll be really, really good. And I think they'll finish out this year solidly. No, they'll make the playoffs. They're going to win the AFC South. I think the AFC South is just going straight down the tubes as a whole, as a division. So, I mean, they'll get into the playoffs. I don't think they're going to make much noise this year there, but they have the pieces there for many years to come. I don't think Houston fans should be worried, but yeah, I think there's points scored. Cat scratch fever lock is in effect because Jacksonville last played the Lions, and I don't care that they had a bye in between there. They're still licking their wounds from that. So, yes, give me the over, but I think Houston wins this game.
I'm also taking Houston. Jacksonville sucks. Trevor Lawrence hasn't, as of today, still hasn't been named as the starting quarterback for this game. Even if he was, it hasn't done them much good throughout the rest of the season. This team is not good. They should have been good. Like, they do have some good players. Like you said, they don't have anybody on their defense. They have Josh Hines-Allen. He's good. But other than that, yeah, they're kind of just, yeah. I think this is another team that's going to have a whole regime change and new philosophies next year. But the way it's looking, since Doug Peterson hasn't been fired yet, maybe he'll make it through the whole season. But I'm surprised he didn't get fired after that Detroit game, to be honest with you. That's what makes me think he's going to make it through the season. So, yeah. I have nothing good to say about Jacksonville. Houston isn't playing very well, but this might be a get-right game for them, and maybe they'll start rolling after this and make some noise in the AFC. Who knows?
They have a absolutely brutal schedule coming up. I will tell you that.
Well, then they need to win this game. Like, they can use this game as practice for that brutal schedule.
Yeah, they for sure need to win this game because it's rough coming ahead for them.
Final game at noon on Sunday, we see the 3-8 Tennessee Titans traveling to the 7-5 Washington Commanders. Washington is favored by 5.5 with a 45.5 point over under, and 95% of the fan differential is on Washington. I am also picking Washington, but at the same time, the way they played last week and the way Tennessee played last week, I'm not sure I would be too shocked if Tennessee snuck this one out. Washington has also been known to not score touchdowns and rather get field goals, and I think that could hurt them because Tennessee has also scored some points on defense. So I got Washington in this game because they're better. I believe in Jaden Daniels. I believe in Dan Quinn. Last week was a division game. It was a weird game. Like I said earlier when we talked about the Cowboys, I don't even know how to describe what happened at the end of that game. It was so fast. It just all of a sudden points were being scored left and right, and
41
Washington
points in one
was
quarter.
on the bad end of that. But yeah, I do not like this Tennessee Titans team like at all. I don't even know what they're gonna do going forward. Like they just need to like wipe the slate clean. And I mean, obviously they just got a brand new coach, but like they need to get like quarterback in there because Will Levis isn't the answer. I don't think Tony Pollard is the answer at running back. I mean, good, you got Kelvin Ridley, but like he's only like, let's get honest, he is average. Sorry, he's average.
He's a number 2. He's not a number 1. I don't care.
You don't have number 1 on that team. So like, and I don't see who's gonna want to go there. Like, who's gonna want to sign there? Like as a receiver, because receivers go there to die. I don't know. I just feel like, yeah, Tennessee, they got rough years ahead of them. But who do you got in this game?
Yeah, I got Washington in this game. This is the bronze lock of the week. I will be eating those 5.5 points. Yes, I know Tennessee played well this last week and they beat the Houston Texans, but I kind of feel like that might have been their last big moment of the year, and the tank job might officially be on after that. I think they wanted to beat their division rivals. They really hate or the Houston Texans. So that was just something I feel that they really, really wanted to do, especially with a first year coach. I think after that, I don't know if they win another game the rest of the year going forward. They want to lose as many games as possible because Diesel's right. They need a quarterback. They need a number one wide receiver. They need a running back. They need an offensive line. They've got some pieces on defense. I mean, they are still ranked in the top 5 in pass defense, I'm pretty sure, this year. So they definitely got some pieces on the other side of the ball. But yeah, this offense as a whole just needs to be completely reworked. And they definitely need to get somebody else in there who, with a competent offensive scheme to do something for this team. So yeah, I think Washington wins this game. And I think this is a classic get right game for Washington after that debacle that was last week against the Cowboys, because shit, you scored a lot of points. You just couldn't finish off the job. So yeah, I don't know. Yeah, you missed the field an extra point. The end of that game is undescribable. And I think Washington makes a big comeback this week and handles their business against the Tennessee Titans. Bronze lock of the week.
All right, moving to 3:05 on Sunday. First game on the 3 o'clock slate is the 5-6 Tampa Bay Buccaneers traveling to the 3-8 Carolina Panthers. The Buccaneers are favored by 6 with a 46.5 point over under, and 94% of the fan differential is on Tampa Bay. Who do you got, Chad?
This is the Suck It Carolina lock of the week. Give me the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I will be eating those 6 points. Yes, once again, I know Carolina probably deserved to win that game against the Kansas City Chiefs last week. But as we've been saying, Kansas City is a very, very weird team. You know who isn't a weird team this year and who likes to, against weaker opponents, beat the living piss out of them? The cockroach. Baker Mayfield. I mean, we did all just see what they did to the hapless New York Giants this last week. And for no reason, they beat the brakes off of that Giants team. And then we're throwing it in their face when Baker Mayfield is doing the Tommy DeVito gabagool celebration in the end zone when they're already up by 21 points. You know that this Tampa Bay team just gives zero shits. Like, Tampa Bay is not going to win anything until they get a better head coach. And Bill Belichick has been tied now to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers going forward. And how crazy would that be if Tom Brady and Bill Belichick go and end their careers in Tampa Bay? Be a wild little coincidence. But that's next year. This year, Tampa Bay, I got them beat Carolina this week. I'll eat those 6 points. Carolina, you had a really good game against Kansas City, but you are still probably the worst team in the NFL this year. You are the Raiders. I'm not sure which. But good job for giving the defending Super Bowl champs a run for their money.
I don't think Carolina is the worst team in the NFL this year. I think the Raiders are worse. I think Jacksonville's worse. So that's 2 teams. They're not the worst. I think that's improvement. They were the worst team last year. I think Dave Canales is actually doing a good job with this team. I think that he should be commended for his job taking this team that probably looked like on paper weren't going to win a game, and they've won 3. And there's a couple games in there where they came really close to winning as well. I feel like they definitely are an improved team. And 3-8 is probably at this point is probably above expectations. So I think that you were being just a tad harsh on Carolina. I mean, they almost just beat the Chiefs.
You know, I'm still holding it against them that they lost that game or that I didn't pick them when they won in London. So just
that being said, I am also taking Tampa Bay because they're starting to get pieces back. They got Mike Evans back last week. Atlanta is falling apart and they're letting Tampa Bay sneak back in. And if things go the way that we've both predicted, Atlanta's losing and Tampa Bay is winning, and they're tied at the top of that division at 6-6. Even though I think Tampa Bay's beat Atlanta, or Atlanta's beat Tampa Bay twice, so they have the tiebreaker, but still, there's a lot of football left to play. So, and you got the cockroach, like you said.
The cockroach.
He's just never gonna die. Yeah, I got Tampa Bay. Next game, 3:05 on Sunday, is the 5-6 Los Angeles Rams traveling to the 4-7 New Orleans Saints. The Rams are favored by 2.5 with a 49-point over-under, and 81% of the fan differential is on the Rams. I am also taking the Rams. I took them last week against Philadelphia. That wasn't a good decision because Philadelphia, well, Saquon Barkley beat the living shit out of the Rams. Like, oh my God. How did, number one, the Giants get rid of him? And number two, how didn't they do this with him? Like, I don't understand. Like, this is easily his best season of his career.
Oh, yeah, without question.
And
he's on pace to break the all-purpose yards record set by Eric Dickerson back in whenever.
With the Giants, it was up and down, up and down, up and down. And you would see glimpses of this, but nowhere near how he's playing for Philadelphia. But yeah, they didn't even have a chance in that game. They came down and I think they scored the first touchdown. But after that, Philadelphia's we're not playing tonight. And yeah, A.J. Brown got a touchdown. Jalen Hurts rushed for a touchdown. When all those guys are eating, it's not good for you. But the Saints are not the Eagles. The Saints, they have their best receiver right now is MVS, even though he has been really good lately. But yeah, the Rams' best receiver is either Puka Nacua or Cooper Kupp. That's up for debate. I don't want to say which one's better because they're both really good. Yeah. And let's get honest, Matthew Stafford is better than Derek Carr.
By a long shot.
But it is arguable who has the better running back because, you could almost say that Saints running back, can't think of his name right now, Kamara, he's almost like a cockroach because you think that, he's not going to do that great this year. He's having one of the best seasons of his career on this shitty Saints team, just wasting away on this New Orleans Saints team. But the Rams are better. The defense of the Saints, when they want to show up, are good, but I don't know. The Rams are probably pissed off at their loss from last week. Their division is so much up for grabs that they can't afford to lose, and I think they know that. Obviously, Sean McVay is a very smart coach, and I got the Rams.
Yes, with my need to win lock of the week, give me the LA Rams. I will be eating those 2.5. I got it at 3 points when I got it. Yes, this Rams team, that defensive line of the Eagles last week could not be blocked on Sunday Night Football. Matthew Stafford had a combined 0.6 seconds every time in the pocket, it felt like, for 90% of that game. Before Graham went out, I felt like he was in the backfield before freaking Stafford could even turn around half the time. The New Orleans Saints do not have that kind of pass rush. They have a special teams coordinator as their interim head coach right now. Give the guy the credit he deserves. He's been doing pretty damn well these past couple of weeks. They've got a couple wins, and they have looked leagues better than they did under the idiot that was there before. But then again, we all knew that guy should have been fired ages ago. So the fact he was still the head coach is just a sign of how badly the ownership is doing. I don't believe in Derek Carr. I think Alvin Kamara is wasting away on this Saints team, but yeah, I think this is another team that is looking forward to 2025, and I think the Rams have a shot to make the playoffs. And if they could get any of their offensive linemen healthy enough to actually fucking block, then this team could do something. So hopefully, with a need to win lock, give me the Rams, and gosh damn it, you better fucking win, Rams, because if you don't, it's a problem. It's a problem, folks. It's a problem.
Moving on to Sunday, 3:25. I know where Chad's going with this game because of the process of elimination. I know what clock it is. We see the 9-2 Philadelphia Eagles traveling to the 8-4 Baltimore Ravens. The Ravens are favored by 3 with a 50.5 point over under, and 57% of the fan differential is on Baltimore. Who do you got in this game and why?
Well, Diesel, this is obviously the Raptor lock of the week.
Do it.
But it could go either way. There's another game where the Raptor lock applies to both teams. But I will be taking the Baltimore Ravens. I will be eating those -3 points. Listen, folks, it's probably my own hubris. It's my own self-denial, but I just cannot, will not, and frankly, just fucking can't care or pick the Philadelphia Eagles. I hate Nick Sirianni. As a person that I've never met personally, as a person I've never been in the same probably fucking state as the guy. Okay, I don't know why. I can't put into words the amount of just bile that fills my mouth every time he comes on my television screen. I want to turn the TV off, or I just want to yell about everything he does. It makes me froth at the mouth how much I dislike this man's just arrogance or some. I don't even know. I hate him. I hate him. I hate him. I hate him. And don't get me wrong, I don't love Harbaugh either, but I love everything else about this Ravens team. Roquan Smith might not be playing. It'll be the first game he misses since he's been traded to the Ravens.
No,
but I don't
was
care.
Last night.
Huh?
That was last night.
Oh, yeah, it was last night. Sorry. Did he end up? He didn't play, did he?
It was the first game. No, he didn't play last night. It was the first game he's ever missed in his career.
Yeah, that's. And if he doesn't play again this week, it'll be okay. The Baltimore Ravens defense has been looking a little bit better. They only gave up 23 points to the LA Chargers, and they didn't let Justin Herbert throw a touchdown. And he's been throwing a lot of touchdowns this year. I don't think they let Saquon Barkley run all over them like everyone else has been doing. So without that, Philly just, once again, I'm probably wrong, and Philly's probably a lot better than I'm giving them credit for, but I don't fucking care. I just hate them. So give me the Baltimore Ravens, Raptor lock of the week. I'll be eating those 3 points.
I don't think you're wrong. I'm also taking Baltimore because I think it's, at least in my eyes, Philadelphia is a very beatable team, and they have, like, you know, like in Three Ninjas when light up the eyes, boys. You got to hit that spot, and that spot is Saquon Barkley. If you can shut him down, like, I don't believe in Jalen Hurts. He is an overrated quarterback, and he has talented receivers that make him look better. And I mean, you can say that about some other quarterbacks in the league too, but like, he gets too overhyped when, like, AJ Brown, I think, is underrated because of the overratedness of Jalen Hurts. I think the stuff that he does for Jalen Hurts gets overlooked, and Jalen Hurts gets the credit. If this game turns into a shootout and Baltimore shuts down Saquon Barkley and the Eagles don't have an answer for Derrick Henry, And that's the way I think it's going to go. I think that Baltimore's going to win this game. They're at home. I think that they're starting to gear up for January. I really think they're getting ready for battle.
Oh yeah.
And that's what Monday Night Football felt like to me. Like they came into this game prepared, knowing that they could probably see these guys again in January,
Yeah.
and they wanted to send them a message, and I think they did. I
They did.
think
They went
that
down by 10 and then roared back.
I feel like this was one of their better games of the year because of that fact. Like I really do feel like a message was sent after this game. And I'm not 100% believer in the Eagles. Like they're good. They're going to win their division, but oh man, I really like this Baltimore team. And I don't like Harbaugh either. And but he's like the only thing I don't like about their team. So, yeah. Yeah, I'm going with Baltimore. Sunday Night Football. We see the 5-6 San Francisco 49ers traveling to the 9-2 Buffalo Bills. The Bills are favored by 7 with a 44.5 point over under and an 89% fan differential. I don't know if Brock Purdy is playing this week. I don't really think it matters. This San Francisco team is not the same team as last year, and they almost feel like watching the game last week against Packers, just felt defeated like the whole time. It just Kyle Shanahan didn't feel the same as he always usually does. I don't there's something like just weird going on. They're giving off these weird vibes. And I think I even texted you this. Like, I think that they're starting to play themselves out of the playoffs.
Huh.
Like, they have talent too. They could have played better against the Packers. They had two dropped interceptions. One of them would have been to the house. They didn't take advantages of anything the Packers gave them, and they could not stop the run. This is not your typical 49ers defense. Like, they get a new defensive coordinator every year, and apparently this guy was not the answer. I don't even know who he is, to be honest with you. But yeah, like the Packers just ran it all over them. And it wasn't just Josh Jacobs. Emmanuel Wilson is also a really good back that just he gets overshadowed because of how good Josh Jacobs actually is. But if you watch him run, he's getting 5 yards a carry like every carry. But Buffalo, yeah, I don't see them having much problem with San Francisco in this game. I don't know if Bosa's playing. I don't know if Trent Williams is playing. CMC is definitely not at full capacity. Yeah, this San Francisco team is just a shell of what they were last year, and Buffalo is the real deal. And yeah, this game on paper, like when the schedule makers made this schedule, like, oh yeah, we're gonna get a banger on Sunday Night Football, and we might actually have a dud, which is a shame. But what are you gonna do? I got Buffalo.
Yeah, once again, you hit the nail directly on the head with everything. I mean, this Buffalo team is rounding into form as much as we both ragged on Sean McDermott before the season started. I called that he would be fired by this week. They have proven us 1,000% wrong. They are the second seed in the AFC right now. And if Kansas City falters at all, they will take that number one seed from them as they already beat them. So it's pretty crazy. And you are 1,000% right about the body language and the way that San Francisco looks. That loss to Seattle, especially with the way they lost with that Geno Smith rushing touchdown at the end of the game, I don't know. That might have just really broken the San Francisco 49ers because, yeah, I mean, I picked them to beat Green Bay this last week because I thought that even with a backup quarterback and some injuries that Shanahan would get some shenanigans. Like that's what they do. Those Shanahans always have like another trick up their sleeve, another trick play in their back pocket. And they didn't even look like they were ready to play. Like they looked like the Jacksonville Jaguars do. Like when they came out flat. They had a bunch of dumb penalties left and right. When you have 12 men on the field 2 times in a row, like, are you kidding me? Like, how does that even happen? You're professional football players. Like, that is the most baffling of mental mistakes. And coming from the San Francisco 49ers team, it's just not something I expect to see. Like, they don't look like themselves at all. And I think the West is down to now either the other 3 teams, because I don't think San Fran has a shot in hell. Like, they have a rough schedule coming up. They have a lot of division games, and I don't see them even kind of competing the rest of the year. And I think it starts here on Sunday Night Football. They might get absolutely annihilated by Buffalo, and shit, where do you go from there? Like, it's rough. It's a bad situation San Fran finds himself in. And I mean, I don't know how you get out from under it. They don't have draft picks. They don't have any capital. It's a weird thing. It's a weird situation they've now find themselves in, especially with a team that was just in the Super Bowl. For them to have fallen so far, and it feels like their Super Bowl window has absolutely slammed shut, just is a wild concept. But yes, I have Buffalo in this game, and I will be eating those 7 points. Hell, I will probably take the alternate line and eat 14 points in this game because, yeah, I think that this game will get ugly, and it might get ugly quickly.
I think their only saving grace at San Francisco, that is they're playing in the West, and that division is just up for grabs. It's the Wild West, for real. It is just any one of those teams can win it. I have a feeling that it's going to go down right to the end, and then we're going to have a TLC match to decide who gets the winner or who's the winner of the division. But we'll have to wait and see. Book that at WrestleMania.
I'll tell you right now, San Fran's remaining schedule after this, they have Chicago and the Rams at home. They have to go to Miami. Then they play Detroit, and then they finish the season at Arizona.
I mean, that's not the worst schedule. I mean, they're going to lose to Detroit. They could beat the Bears. I could see them, if they play well, they could beat Miami. But, yeah, they could beat Arizona as well. But, yeah, that's rough for them. Moving on, Monday Night Football. We have the 3-8 Cleveland Browns led by Jameis Winston, who is just out of this world, man. I mean, I'm not overly religious, and like, I liked his gusto. I liked his gusto and how excited he was to play in the snow in Cleveland. Like, yeah, the guy makes me laugh, and I tried.
Wild individual.
Yeah, I tried to just take it with a grain of salt, but yeah. Anyways, they're playing the 7-5 Denver Broncos at Denver. It's a 5.5 point advantage or favorite for Denver, 42 point over under, and the fan differential is 88% on Denver. Who do you got in this game?
Well, Diesel, I am also not a religious man at all, but I'll tell you one thing. I am a goddamn believer because I am taking the Denver Broncos in this game. And with the golden lock of the week, I'll be eating those 5.5 points. Because you want to know why? Shit. I said it before the season. I was very high on this Bo Nix kid. I loved him as a 12-year college player. I mean, he played for 15 different teams. And, with all that experience, I thought he'd do really good. He looked like a rookie for the first few weeks of the season. But since then, holy shit, has he been turning it on. He's 259 for 399, 64.9 completion percentage, 2,500 yards, 16 touchdowns to only 6 interceptions. And boys and girls, he's only been sacked 19 times. That is fucking nuts. And I know that we all crowned Jaden Daniels as the rookie of the year way back when, but really, if you look at the numbers, you look at the stats, you look at the wins, rookie of the year should be Bo Nix. It's honestly not that close, but we'll see if he can actually get it done. But this is the game that I think actually swings it into his favor. A big Monday Night Football primetime game. I see the Denver Broncos dominating the Cleveland Browns. Jameis Winston is the most up and down quarterback. Last week was the up. This week comes the down. He had a great win in that crazy snow globe game, which I love as the title of that game. But I don't see that magic continuing. Give me the Denver Broncos, and with the golden lock of the week, I'll be eating those 5.5 points.
I am also on the Denver Broncos in this game because they are rolling right now. They're just getting better, and improving every single week. Sean Payton, he wanted Bo Nix, and there's a reason he wanted Bo Nix because he knew that he could get him to play his type of football, and he's doing a hell of a job doing that because this team is a playoff team. They are making the playoffs this year. I'm calling it, and it's probably going to be 3 teams out of the AFC West getting into the playoffs this year.
It's going to be what we thought was going to happen last year. It's just going to happen this year.
Yeah, and Las Vegas. Sorry, pals.
Sorry, suckers.
Yeah, Denver. Man, just think about if they would have beat the Chiefs. That blocked field goal is huge. I mean, they wouldn't probably catch the Chiefs, but they would be ahead of the Chargers in the standings. And yeah, I mean, they in my eyes, all but in the win-loss columns, they won that game.
Yeah.
But it doesn't
Bo
show
Nix
that
outplayed. Colin Cowherd talked about it at length that Bo Nix outplayed Patrick Mahomes in that game by a long shot. It was like did everything he could to win that game, and Kansas City somehow stole it.
Yeah, I like Denver's chances in this game. I like their chances going forward. I don't think that they're gonna like make the Super Bowl or anything like that, but I wouldn't be surprised to see them get into the divisional round of the playoffs. So there's a lot of football left to play before we talk about that, I guess. So I got Denver this week. Just looking over all of our picks, it looks like we have 3 different. And yeah, so maybe you'll get to under 20 games, my lead for you. I wish you the best on that. I really would not care if the Giants beat Dallas, if New England beat the Colts, and if what's the other one?
The Jets beat the Sea Chickens.
I guess I wouldn't really care about that either. It's better for the Packers.
It is. Let's say you hate the Sea Chickens.
I don't. I'm not your average Packer fan. I've always been a fan of
I know you have.
Seahawks. Most Packer fans do not like them because of the Hail Mary and the NFC Championship game, but I always liked Pete Carroll and Marshawn Lynch, and I like their stadium. I don't know. There are just certain things about them that I like. They're the 12th man, and right now I like them because like they have great receiving core, and JSN is really, really coming into his own. I'm enjoying watching that too. Anyways, thoughts for this week. Just happy Thanksgiving. Hopefully the games that we get on Thanksgiving and Black Friday are good.
On paper, they don't look that great, but hopefully we get surprised.
No, I mean Miami, Green Bay. Hopefully, I mean, if I hope Green Bay just like trounces them. It's not even a game, and it's no stress for me. But that one probably out of the four is going to be the best one. But
On paper, you would think so.
other than that, I think this is a pretty solid week of
A
football.
lot of
We
fun
got
football.
some evenly matched teams. I think we're going to have some answers after this week, and then like really, we can start like because we're heading into the final quarter of the season, so I'm about to wrap this shindig up and get into the nitty gritty and playoff football. I can't wait.
Yeah,
Except it's happening so fast.
it's crazy that we're reaching the end of fantasy football already here in the next couple of weeks. The regular season will end for most fantasy football leagues. And yeah, we're approaching not the home run, the final run of the NFL regular
Home
season.
stretch.
Home stretch. There we go. That's what I was looking for. Oh, take a week off and I forget how to talk. But yes, my final thoughts are I'm excited for some football this weekend. I'm excited to go to my sister-in-law's for Thanksgiving, so that should be fun. In the comments down below, why don't you all talk about what your favorite Thanksgiving meal item is, because that's always a fun thing to talk about. Mine personally, I'm a big fan of this spinach and artichoke dip that my family does. It won't be that Thanksgiving this year for me because I'm going to my sister-in-law's, but that's okay. I don't need it every year, but it's like 12,000 calories, but it's so good.
Random one that's more of an hors d'oeuvre than like you'd serve during the meal, but veggie pizza.
Ooh, classic. Love me a good veggie pizza too.
Other than that, if you're liking what you see, make sure you give the thumbs up. Hit that bell so you know that when we upload our new episodes, and be sure to subscribe, share all our episodes with your friends and family and enemies and strangers, anybody you want. Well,
Try it from
I
the
already told you
rooftops.
what to comment. Also, if you're in America, happy Thanksgiving. I hope that everything goes good for everybody. Everybody gets nice and full and fat and eat all your favorite foods. Have good time with your family and your friends, and yeah, just hope that everybody is happy, and for one day we can just celebrate football. I don't know. But other than that, I'm Diesel. For my co-host Chad. Let's watch some football.
Bye. And happy Turkey Day.
This has been a Visionaries Global Media production. Visionaries Global Media, envisioning excellence on a global scale.